Hello, and welcome to the allure of fashion and the intrigue of great books. Today's episode features the fashion and language surrounding ballroom dancing. There's a distinctive language in ballroom and Latin dancing, and I'm not referring to the words used to describe step patterns or technique. Two people moving together as one to music, the gorgeous styles and stories that show the beauty, romance, allure, and intrigue of ballroom dancing. I'm your host, Wendy Kendall. The result of my love of fashion and especially my passion for purses, mystery, and romance are the books I've authored in the intriguing In Pursuit Mysteries. Cat Out of the Bag introduces Catherine Watson, purse designer sleuth. As Catherine moves from designer bags to body bags, she's uncovering clues to a murder. The prequel, Pistachio Makes a Splash, delves into a chilling cold case. Finalist for Best Romantic Suspense at Killer Nashville, Snow Kiss Cookies to Die For creates a tangle of mystery and love. A summer read that will keep you on the edge of your beach towel, Cherry Shakes in the Park blends danger, divas, and frothy delights. Please check my website, wendywritesbooks.com, to see all my books. And I'm having fun finishing my newest book in Catherine Watson's investigations. Thank you so much to all the readers who've told me how much they enjoyed my books. But my guest today is author Natalie Cross. She writes romances and cozy mysteries and suspense with heart and humor. Come along with Natalie's characters and see how love is an adventure. Natalie's written the Danceport Mysteries. Welcome, Natalie Cross, in pursuit of fashion and fiction.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. If I can't talk about books, I like to talk about dancing and fashion, so this is perfect.
That's so awesome. Well, Fred Astaire said, some people seem to think that good dancers are born, but all the good dancers I've known are taught or trained. Natalie, are you a ballroom dancer? And what inspired your stories, Ballroom Blitz and Ballroom Prom?
Well, I started dancing ballroom anyway. I mean, I did tap and ballet and, the whole thing when you're a kid. When I was in college, though, I joined my college's ballroom dance team, and that got me into it, and I really enjoyed it. And then when I went to professional school, I kept it up and did a little bit more competitions and frankly got a lot better. It took a lot of practice, just as you said. And then I've been kind of doing it on and off over the years. After I had my kids, I took a little break. And then there was a global pandemic.
Oh,
And
something about that.
ballroom dance kind of shut down for a little while, unfortunately. And I really missed it. But that is the beauty of YouTube, because there are a lot of hours of ballroom dancing competitions on YouTube. And I would just go down these rabbit holes. And at one point during one of these evenings where I was sitting at home and watching YouTube, um, I got this idea where I was like, hey, what if there was like, why aren't there more ballroom dance romances? And why can't they have mystery involved in them? Why shouldn't there be a little bit of suspense? Like it's this kind of beautiful environment full of glitter and glamour, and it just seemed kind of ripe for a suspense story too. So that's how those books came around. And once I wrote the first one, which was Ballroom Blitz, then the whole bunch of them all of a sudden just kind of came out. There's Ballroom Prom, which is the prequel where Anita and Patrick are in high school and they're at their high school prom. Um, and then there's a sequel, like short novella called Ballroom Blind Date. And then actually the second Ballroom Blitz dance sport mystery book is called Ballroom Fever and is coming out in October. So apparently there's a lot to mine from ballroom dancing and mysteries.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm excited for October now. It's going to be great.
Me too. I think it's going to be a fun month.
Well, your character, Anita, she owns a dance studio in your book, Ballroom Blitz. Please tell us about Anita and her passion for dance.
I think, like a lot of professional athletes, she found her love of her sport very early. She also started out dancing ballet and then at some point found ballroom dancing and really just hung on to it. She started a ballroom club in her high school, and that was actually how she and Patrick initially met. Um, he was on the soccer team, and his soccer coach told him that he needed to get better footwork. So he ended up joining the ballroom dance club and fell hopelessly, madly in love with Anita, which he proceeded not to tell her for over a decade because why men? I don't know. But she put a lot of heart and soul into dancing, and it was her passion. And I think it's like that, I think, for a lot of professional athletes, where they put a lot of other things on hold in order to accomplish their dreams and get what they want out of life. And she's at a stage now in Ballroom Blitz where she has her studio is going okay, but like she really needs to level up at this point. um, and she needs a little bit of help to do it. So it's a good thing her best friend Patrick comes back to help her out.
Excellent. Well, in Ballroom Blitz, love and dancing do not always mix. Anita mentions that she's tired of partnering with men who put themselves first and the dance suffers. Can you tell us a little bit about the very appealing character Patrick and about Anita partnering on the dance floor? What's it like for her partnering with her best friend? And by the way, I do have to just mention, I love that the masculine Patrick from the very first scene is carrying his messenger bag, which is awesome.
It's mostly because Patrick is very heavily based on Jim from The Office, who always carried a messenger bag. Um, but I think for Anita, like she's gotten burned a lot in the past with her former partners. At the beginning of the book, she's just broken up with her last partner, who was not such a great guy. And so she really is not looking for any kind of relationship. She's always not agreed to partner with Patrick just because there's feelings there. There's emotions that she's not really willing to deal with at that time. So she's kind of put them all aside, but there's a big competition coming up and she really wants to win and really wants to get revenge on her ex. But why not? Um, and and Patrick says, "Hey, I'll help you out. I'll do it." And for her, it really opens her back up. It really helps her realize all the things that, she's been missing and all the things that she secretly wants that she hasn't kind of told herself that she's allowed to have, but now she could. Yeah.
Wow. It's just so well written and well done. I mean, you just go right along with all the emotions as a reader. It's really beautifully done.
Thank you. That's
Um,
really nice of you to say. Thanks.
oh, it is. I enjoyed it so much. And of course, amid the love and the dance, there's also the danger. So can you tell us a little about the danger and mystery in Ballroom Blitz?
So, of course, all that glitters is not gold, as we know from life.
I love
Um,
that. That's Judith Lieber. Thank
I
you
know,
so
right?
much. I love that quote.
You've got to shout it out every so often. So in this story, there is a stalker, and the book opens where there's a woman who's been murdered at a ballroom competition. No one knows who did it. It's kind of going unsolved. And then Patrick and Anita start getting some weird messages. Things start popping up in their email inbox, and they're like, it's just a cyber stalker. Nothing ever comes out of that, which is not true for all those of us who read mysteries and listen to true crime podcasts. Cyber stalkers escalate. And that's exactly the case in this book. Things escalate a little bit out of control, and they find themselves in a bit of a sticky situation. But, the good thing is that they have each other and they rely on each other to kind of make their way out of it as best they can.
Well, I'll tell you, I just love the glamour of ballroom dresses and just the gorgeous colors, the stunning fitted designs, the way the fabric moves with the dancer in the music. I will admit that the shoes I find a bit intimidating, however. But what is your favorite part about the fashion of ballroom dancing? And and I noticed that you have some beautiful costumes there. So maybe you can tell us a little about those, and then also a little bit about what's Anita's style.
I like everything about the fashion. I just think it's fun, you know. We live so much of our lives in normal clothes. Why not get blitzed up every now and then? So I do have two. I have my two old competition dresses here. Um,
Oh,
this this one is it's got a lot of fringe, as you can see, so it's a little short. So this is my old Latin dress. This also came with some really fun sleeves that were glittery and sparkly, and those are really fun to wear. And then this over here is my old standard gown.
oh, uh-oh,
That's okay.
you saved
Um,
it.
yeah, so this one you can see has a lot more beading. It's really long and flowy, um, and it just moves really well all around the dance floor. And you feel a little bit like you're flying when you wear stuff like this. And I think it's just, again, it's just kind of fun. And I know the shoes do sound intimidating, but they're less intimidating than you think they are. Um,
Oh,
and they're so pretty too. Like they come with all kinds of sparkles and straps and all kinds of little things. You don't have to get the super high heels. You can get the shorter ones, but I think any dancer or any athlete who can perform for 5, 10, 15 minutes in high heels and backwards, I mean, really, I don't know why it's not an Olympic sport.
good point. Very good point.
Oh, and you asked a little bit about Anita's fashion sense. I think
Yes.
for her, she's a dance teacher by day. She spends all day in like leggings and a cardigan and things that are comfortable because she's on her feet and moving all day long. Um, but when she gets into the dance arena, she goes all out. She goes full Firebird, big splashy colors. She's naturally a blonde, so she plays up that aspect a lot when she's dancing, and she just has fun with it. She's got a whole bunch of makeup and she goes to town.
Oh, I love that. I didn't even mention the makeup. Yeah, fantastic.
Mm. I love it when they put like crystals or glitter or gems in the hair too. It's so much fun.
Oh my gosh, the
Yeah.
imagination runs wild.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever want some really great hairstyles, you could always watch Strictly Ballroom from the 90s, because there are some excellent like Australian ballroom hairstyles in there.
Oh.
But even just watching YouTube videos from competitions, like people go all out. It's awesome.
Well, now for the men, when choosing outfits for a night out dancing, okay, so I've been told that it's not so much the clothing item by itself that matters for the man, but it's the characteristics that make it specifically better for dancing. So things like colors that hide sweat and fabrics that breathe and a fit that's optimal for dancing and moving. Uh, and I'm told that leather shoes are great protection on the floor in case you get stepped on with those heels. Uh, so you want to make sure that the dance shoes also fit very snug on the foot because you don't want something loose that'll interfere with balance and coordination. Which brings me to how does sexy masculine Patrick look when he's cutting a rug on the dance floor? And also, your story is told partly in Anita's point of view and partly in Patrick's. So, what's important as an author about writing mystery and romance from a male character's point of view?
Well, first of all, Patrick looks very nice when he's on the dance floor. He doesn't wear the shirts like fully cut down to his navel, but there's he dances Latin too, so he's got to expose a little bit of himself. But he looks very nice when he's dancing. Um, you asked about the different perspectives, and I think that's important really in any romance. I think it also helps a lot in mystery and suspense because you really get into the characters' feelings and their emotions and their points of view about everything. So I think it is a really useful tool to kind of tell a story from multiple different POVs, especially when there are two different main characters. You know, that's a big thing with romance. You got to have both the guy and the girl.
Very nice. Well, I was wondering, Natalie, would you treat our listeners to a reading from your book, Ballroom Blitz?
Sure. Yes, I'd be happy to. I've got my copy right here.
Yeah.
Just to set this up, Anita has just gotten over being very, very ill, and she has a very big party to plan for that she has not had enough time to prep for. But in swoops Patrick to the rescue because he is the best of best friends, and he forced her to eat while he decorates the dance studio for her. So this is right after he's left her alone with a large bag of takeout. So Anita emerged from her office picnic 20 minutes later, stomach full of orange chicken, green beans, and brown rice, but lighter than she had felt in days. She walked onto the dance floor and gasped. He had gotten an inordinate amount done in just 20 minutes. He had set up the refreshment table and now was halfway through adjusting the fairy lights and stringing bunting above the mirror. He grinned when he saw her. He stopped her by holding up a single finger, then hit the play button on the stereo. She couldn't help but laugh as she heard the Jacksons crooning Blame It on the Boogie. Her laugh intensified when Patrick started grooving. I can't believe you did all this. There's still a lot to do, but you need to take time for the classics. Patrick turned the music up louder. He held out a hand to Anita, and she just could not help but start moving her hips, her shoulders. She hadn't danced the hustle in ages, but she did love a good nightclub dance. They both moved around the empty dance floor, laughing, lip syncing. Patrick whipped her around in a series of spins, and she could not find her spot, but she did not care. Nothing felt like this. Nothing felt so freeing and powerful as losing herself in the rhythm of a song. All of the stresses and trials of the last few weeks melted away, and at the end of the song, there was Patrick. Patrick, who used to share junk food and empty ballrooms with her after competitions. Patrick, who remembered every single dress she had ever worn. Patrick, who adored her mother. Patrick, who was panting and grinning at her with a smile so broad it seemed to lift him off the ground. Yes, her body begged her. Yes. His smile changed as his eyes fixed on her mouth. She moved her hand from his shoulder to cup his stubbled jaw. Yes. Her body thrummed and heated, and this had to happen. She was going to shatter if it didn't, and we'll have to play this tonight at the party. She sounded breathless, wanton. She tried to force herself to pull away, but her brain was definitely losing. It was his eyes that loosened her resolve to stop. The glints of gold in the deep blue oceans. The air between them crackled and sparked and swelled. She leaned in, tilting her face just so. Yes. Yes. A
That's a
short excerpt.
terrific, that is a terrific reading. I love it.
Thank you.
Wow, that's so good. This is just a fun story. I enjoyed your book so much with the underlying humor that is also there as you're reading through, and just the wonderful array of characters and the mystery.
Oh,
So,
thank you so much.
can you tell us what's important for you as the author when you're writing the mystery component of this?
I think it's to keep it all in perspective. Um, with any mystery, like there's victims, they need to be respected in a lot of cases, and the people who did wrong like need to be brought to justice at the end of it. I find it very frustrating in a mystery when you get to the end and it's just like life happened. I think things, at least in books, should come to a neat conclusion. Um, and I think that's kind of the fun part too, is seeing how all of the little pieces wrap up. I'm a bit of a like a pantser writer where I'm not always sure what's going to happen in the beginning of when I start writing the book. So it's always really exciting to me when I get to the end of the mystery and I'm like, oh, this person did it. How fun. um, so I think those are kind of the things that are important to me. And then I I don't really want to write the heavy suspense and the heavy books. I like keeping it a little bit lighter, a little bit funner. um, and again, having that element of suspense, but still wrapping it up and making sure that you have a good time while you're reading it. Because I think that's the important thing about books too, is that you need to have a good time.
Well, I definitely had a good time reading. Very fun. Do you have a favorite dance? Like waltz, foxtrot, tango, salsa, something else? What is it that most appeals to you in your favorite dance?
I don't think I have a favorite. I like them all. I think they're all really fun. The thing that appeals to me most is definitely the music. I think if you get some good music with a really good beat, it's just fun. It's fun to dance to. It's fun to move to. You start feeling like you're back in high school at senior prom and you're with all your friends, and it's just fun. It's one of those transformative kind of experiences that I think it's good for your psyche.
Very good. And just, I wanted to talk for a minute on the topic of connecting through dance. In ballroom competitions across the US, the largest group of dancers is age 51 and above. And many are actively participating in ballroom dancing competitions, traveling across the country, taking private dance lessons, winning prizes, changing dresses. I really admire their passion and enthusiasm. Ballroom dancing has so much to offer older adults. It builds strength and endurance, it develops balance, and it helps stave off dementia. Many start with social dancing and dance recitals with an instructor called showcases. And it's just a wonderful way to socialize. One big challenge is to choose a gown that's sophisticated, elegant, comfortable, not too matronly, sexy, yet not over the top. Look for a dress maybe with interesting draping or decoration. Combine two colors in one dress, making various patterns, because two colors will break the image of one solid dress and sort of help shape the silhouette. Combine see-through and solid materials, creating a lighter impression of the dress. And often a senior dancer goes for costumes with dim, dark colors. Many prefer black. Um, but choosing those bright, intense colors like emerald, royal blue, deep burgundy are great alternatives. And have fun adding to those dresses lace or appliques. Pastel colors on senior dancers are also great. The soft silvery tone of a natural gray hair matches well with the clean pastel colors and looks amazing on a dance floor. Some dancers have slightly slouched posture. You can avoid massive accessories or flounces because those accentuate the shoulders. So try a thin, seamless layer of mesh decorated with rhinestones. So something similar. Also, creating a dress with a horizontal pattern going across the back drives attention away from the slouching. Some ways to reduce costs include buying used attire or renting it, doing your own hair and makeup, and traveling with a teacher who has several students competing so you can spread out the professionals' travel expenses. In addition to senior dancers, I found out about a wonderful group of dancers that I want to tell you about. The group they're called Connecting Through Dance. And it was started by Jean Russo and Joan Shubin, two people who pursued a wish of making a difference through dance. They taught ballroom dancing to the visually impaired. Guide dancers were part of the group, partners who learned the dancing and provided a guide for the visually impaired. As one of the students said, before she knew it, there she was, ballroom dancing, swinging, dancing the tango, and foxtrot. This inspiring group of people were not stopped from doing something they really want to do. It's beautiful to see the human spirit rising above adversity. And as Joan Shubin, one of the founders, said, seeing them eager to embrace life, even in the midst of the trauma that they're going through. The dancers delighted in meeting people, stopping their isolation, making good friends, and lasting relationships, truly connecting through dance. And the dancers also speak of the joy and self-confidence that the dance brings them. They learned dances and then prepared for an annual ball where the beauty of their skills is showcased. As they rehearsed, they shared their joy with others by performing in nursing homes with their beautiful costumes, music, and dance. And that became a heartwarming experience for those audiences too. So please do yourself a favor, and after our pursuit, check out the link in the episode description below to see a 14-minute YouTube video about this group. Ballroom dancers will tell you it's all about the good relationship with the instructor and the other dancers. It's also about the drive to keep improving, and definitely about all the excitement. So the costumes are gorgeous, but regarding purses, I'm thinking that anything more than a wristlet cannot be worn on the dance floor. But I do love the Danskin tote bags for a stylish, everyday bag for carrying dancewear, supplies, and accessories. Natalie, what's a favorite purse style that you like, and why does that purse style appeal to you?
When we're not talking about dancing, I would say definitely just a plain kind of tote, like a hobo bag, something that holds a lot of stuff. I have two young kids, and so inevitably someone needs Legos and Uno and baby wipes. So I like to have a lot of space in my purse and things very easily accessible.
You're a big bag girl.
Yeah.
I also love big bags. Well, I love them all, but that's another episode. Natalie, thank you so much for sharing this fashion and fiction fun with everybody. Can you tell us what's coming up next for your readers to look forward to?
Yeah, thank you again for having me. The second ballroom dance sport mystery book, Ballroom Fever, comes out in October of 2023. That is very exciting. And then there is also a spin-off novella, which is a clean sports romance called Ballroom Spin. That's going to be part of an anthology that's coming out in November. So the best way to keep up with any updates or new books or anything else would be to join my newsletter or check out my website, which is www.nataliecrosswrites.com.
So can they join your newsletter right there on your website or?
Yep.
Yes.
Just right through there. There's a sign up form and everything, and then you get a free book. And I'm planning some holiday fun for my subscribers too, which I'm working out right now. So that's good.
Fantastic. You heard it here first, everybody. So that's great. Yes. Please, listeners, you'll want to check out the website, nataliecrosswrites.com. And also check out her interesting blog there. And as she says, find out more about her books. Thank you, Natalie, so much. And also, listeners, you're invited to my website, wendywritesbooks.com, to explore more on fashion and fiction. And thank you for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And join me next time for the allure of fashion and the intrigue of great books.